But as everything come to its full capacity, let's do this right quick. Let's tune into this press conference. I didn't know it was going to be live right now. So let's listen in to the press conference, and then we'll get everything going after.
What do we need to do to win, and regardless of who's playing quarterback? So we all understand, that's our responsibility. We all understand the strengths and weaknesses, and really the direction we want to go, offense, defense, and special teams. So to me, it's really part of the game plan process. So that's why we sit in there on Monday nights and Tuesdays and make sure it's clean. And so as far as Cooper Rush, we don't feel like there's really any limitations on what we want to do. I mean, he's as rehearsed in this offense as anybody. Him and Kellen. They go back to prior to when I got here. So. And that's really the way we go about it. And it's no different with the left guard, the left tackle. That's all part of the game plan process.
So it's really more structure. Just you're the ones that give them the structure and just say, just do your jobs more than anyone needs to.
Definitely, we all have a job to do. I mean, that's really what you talk about. Coming off the 90 down to the 53, and the opportunity to keep the practice squad. I love this. I love the roster structure now. So. To keep all your guys, all that plays into it, and that's a big part of, it's really my job description, job responsibility for everybody, for the coordinators, for the coaches, for the players, how it fits together. And ultimately on Sunday, and that's something we talk about all the time, is support the 48, because at the end of the day, we got 48 of our Warriors that get to dress, but everybody else has a role. We don't need any cheerleaders. We don't, not as a negative. I mean, just in the term, we don't. Everybody has a role of support for those 48 players. So that's what we work towards, Monday through Saturday.
John.
John Michaud, The Athletic. We never really got into why Jalen Tolbert wasn't active. What does he have to do to be active on Sunday?
I mean, he's a young player that, frankly, a lot has been asked of him. So, and that's we were all so impressed, when he arrived, and so, in the hamstring injury really played a factor in this because, having him play all the positions, treating him, frankly, how we treated CD when CD arrived.
Oh, so he hurt.
Not really having the opportunities early on special teams. He's a step behind the other guys, and that's really all it is. And you need to get that, Clarence. I mean,
get him.
We could stop the press conference. I mean,
wow,
it's not that important. I don't have anything to do next.
Today.
So. But I just think it's just kind of where Jalen is, and I think you have to recognize Dennis and Simi for what they've done. So, but yeah, he's full go. Just really the last 2 weeks he's been crushing it in practice, and so I look for him to push for future opportunities.
Clarence Hill for what's been the mood of the team this week? Have you seen it upbeat, it grows? Obviously there should be a downer after the game, after that loss, but have you seen it?
Yeah, I'll say this. The practice, and you got to watch this stuff too. I mean, because we're all products of potentially overreacting, and because when I can't tell you how many times you walk off the practice field and you're like, whoa, that energy may not have been the best, or boy, that was a very energetic practice. And unfortunately, the video, and fortunately and unfortunately, I sound like someone I used to work with. But anyways, fortunately, I'm covering both sides of this. But you watch the video and it's the opposite. So my point is, like the work yesterday from the video and the energy and the GPS was actually excellent, but it didn't feel that way. So that's like anything. So that tells me, okay, we're all looking too hard. Let's just let's keep we talk to the players all the time about trust your training, stay with it. We lost the game to an excellent football team, a very experienced football team, and so we evaluated that on Monday. So I thought our work was really good yesterday, but this is the most important day. This is the padded work. But yeah, so the mood, they're into it. I mean, we had the team meeting. We had a unique thing today, and just one of the players shared something. I'm not going to get into it. If they want to get into it, I'm sure you can ask them in the locker room. But so the energy and the outlook. I mean, we're focused on beating the Bengals.
Mike Jory, Epstein, USA Today. We hear a lot about Cooper knowing the offense, Cooper being cerebral. Can you give us an example of a time, whether it was in practice or in a meeting, that he brought something up that showed you his understanding of the offense?
I mean, almost daily. Something always done, and Kellen and Doug do the same, is, your backup quarterback is part of the presentation process, during the course of the week. So on Friday, he'll do a blitz review. So I mean, it's, then your third quarterback, he has a presentation responsibility too. So it's, once again, it's all about growth and development. Every position room has that concept that's part of that. Part of that. So yeah, and Cooper is. He does an excellent job of that. But there's questions that come up during the week, so it's, I don't think there's, but that's what the quarterback room looks like. There's a lot of collaboration.
Related question on that. Dalton Schultz mentioned he's been in the quarterback meetings now more, that he's not working on special teams. How many non-quarterbacks are in that meeting?
Well, I mean, it's funny Dalton brought that up, because I know I've talked about Zeke being in there, and Dalton's been in there with Zeke, so I hope I don't offend Dalton's feelings, Dalton's quarterback smart. I mean, it's great to have those guys in there, and actually, L-Dub comes in there too, Lunda, his position coach. So this is more training camp, and I just love that part of it, because there's always a good question, and they listen mostly, but I think it's excellent. I think it just tells you about our teaching environment.
Got it.
Skyler Dixon with DAP. A little bit related to David's question. He's come across to us as kind of a quiet guy. Some of his teammates say the same thing. How does that personality translate to what his job is here, which is just kind of steady the ship and keep it going?
I think like anything, when you look at a room and you're trying to, there's development involved. I mean, different personalities, I think, makes the best. I think if you have too much of one personality, it's convenient, it's comfortable, but I think it can limit your growth. So I think if you look at Cooper's personality aligned with Dak, I mean, that's a very good blend. So that's the first point. Second point, Cooper's strength is his confidence in his detail. I mean, when he steps in, because so much about the command of the huddle is goes from the play entry of the coordinator to the quarterback, because the players can hear it. They can hear the play coming in, but then as how the quarterback takes that play into the huddle. So one thing about Cooper, and you can see it just the way he plays, but he's very consistent. So there's definitely a steadying of the ship personality in him, and what's good about it, he's that way every day. So
is that hype or is that real? Are they hyping him?
I think it's a great fit for Dak, and I like the way the rooms are built.
We'll find out.
Mike Todd Archer with ESPN. I'm not asking if Diggs is going to follow Chase around the field, but when you look at potentially doing that, what are the things you have to take into consideration around making that kind of move?
I mean, everything, to be honest with you. I mean, you got to remember, Dan and the staff and the defensive players, there's, some coordinators I've been with, whether it's an offensive normal down distance packages or your defense in their concepts, how they do it. Some guys call it the dirty dozen, some guys call it the terrific 20. What I'm talking about is, there's calls that we've been working on since April. So you want to live in that as much as you can, because that's where the reps, that's where the instincts and awareness is at its highest level. So that's usually your starting point. And then you get into the specialization of how you want to attack the opponent. What are their strengths? Where do you think the stress points are as far as perimeter matchups, protection matchups? So that all plays in it too. So it's great conversation, and I think the media and the public have done a tremendous job in the last 10, 15 years of really recognizing the matchups and fantasy football and all those things play into it. But that's really not how it works. When you get into game plan development and in the construction of a game plan, because there's definitely matchups that you're always conscious of, but which situation can you really lock into it? Are they moving the matchup? Stress point around, all those things play into it. But at the end of the day, if you can line up and run the concepts you have so much invested in and are rehearsed in, I think it's common sense. You'd like to stay in that. So there's always a balancing act in that. It's just not like, hey, why doesn't he, follow, A player follow B player all over the field, regardless of where, that's a fair question, but it's a little harder to pull off, and and you can't rep that all spring and can't rep that all summer, those types of things. You can rep the concepts, and if you want to double team a guy or, things like that. So it's a little bit of a balancing act.
Calvin Watkins, Dallas Morning News. Yesterday we talked about CDs. He's going to get a lot of attention. And as play callers, how do you have to manage? You got to take care of our guy, but also we got some other people too. We want to get involved.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's a little bit, going back to Todd's question. I mean, that's the construction of a game plan. I mean, that's, first time I ever saw was, Paul Hackett, and he always talked about in San Francisco, they had the Jerry Rice list and John Taylor. And, so, those, that is carried forward for generations on, that's why you have more than 2 pages on your call sheet. If you look at call sheets, I never looked at the call sheet as a call sheet. I looked at it as a worksheet. When you work on it throughout the week, that's why it's 6 pages instead. I mean, you really use 2 during the game, but those with the other categories. I know personally what I would carry on. Hey, make sure you get the ball to, CD. Make sure here's the top 10 throws. You already have the plays on the call sheet, but they're good reminders how you list, plays for Tony, plays for Zeke.
Mike McCarthy sound like he don't know what the hell he's talking about.
That's all part of the game plan process.
I'm going to follow up. Did Gallup do any team yesterday?
Yeah, Michael did team. He actually did 7-on-7. So we're going to really, this will be his first day in pads. So we're going to try to give him a little more today. Did a nice job. Looked good.
Ed.
Yeah, Mike Edwarder, ESPN. What's your evaluation at this point of Jason Peters' readiness, and do you envision him initially being a left tackle, a right tackle, a starter, a backup?
Well, he's definitely stepped it up from last week. He's right on schedule based on the plan. It's I compare it to ramp up because that's really, the conversation that Jason and I had from day one. So. He did more yesterday than he did Wednesday and Thursday last week. We look to increase that today. As far as the lineup, we'll that's to be determined. But we're talking about the same options that you've mentioned.
Brad Sham, Cowboys Radio. What are Mukwamu's strengths right now, and physically, how does he compare to Curse?
Well, I mean, J.K. is a lot more experience but Israel has made a huge jump from last year. I mean, and the biggest thing is his strength and confidence. And I think his path has been impressive. I mean, he's clearly, probably one of the guys at the front of the line for making a jump from year 1 to 2. So I'm just really happy and proud he is. I mean, we all are. I mean, he's put so much extra time in. I mean, he was, during the off-season program, he'd come in the morning for the workouts, and he'd come back in the afternoon. I'm talking 4 days a week. So he'd come back in the afternoon for a second session. So it's nice. I just want to make sure, because I am very proud of him. But, he has a lot of same characteristics as J.K. with the length, the ability for matchup. Obviously played corner in college. He gives you some matchup capability, at the safety position.
Christy Scales, Cowboys Radio. Looking at the Bengals defense, specifically the pass rush, and Hendrickson had such a breakout year last year, they able to generate a lot just with their front four? Does it lose a lot of extra?
Yeah, definitely. And I'm very disciplined. I mean, you can see they all play to the similar technique. They do, really good job of collapsing the shoulder on the rush with their helmet placement. I'm just going through some of the things. There's a lot of, to me, that's coaching, it's experience, and really the thing that I've been most impressed with their front is their second and third reaction, and that's something we got to do a really good job of. So they do a good job of block destruction and getting off blocks, in second, third effort in the pass rush. So we always talk about winning above the 2.3. This will be a huge emphasis, and because they're pretty darn good at it.
Mike, on the Dak front, how much as he's going through this is protecting him from himself? Because you told us yesterday, these guys want to play, they want to get out there.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, talking again with Dak last night, and really what I advised them to do was, self-care. Make sure something as simple as get your rest. I mean, I'm sure all of us have had an operation along the way, and it takes a couple of days. So, and that's really what he's been focused on. He didn't get a lot of sleep the first night. So, he's in a healing phase, just like we talked about yesterday. So, I mean, he's going to take at least 7 to 10 days before he can do anything. I mean, that's talking to the medical staff. So, he just needs to heal right now.
Clear.
Any lesson, as we talk about Gallup and you ramping him back up, is there any lessons from what Tampa and Godwin went through Sunday night? I mean, he comes back in ACL and he looks good early, then he suffers a hamstring injury.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's that whole thing about, trying to get that padded practice work, because that's the closest you can get to a game. So, and I have no idea what their process is, and I think you see the path that we have Michael on, this will be his first padded practice since last year. So, that's the way we're looking at it, and if he crosses that hurdle today, and then hopefully we'll do more next week.
Michael Gelkin, Dallas Morning News. How many reps and time on task goes into an option route between quarterback and receiver? And when you're making that change at quarterback, even if you're running your offense, how cognizant do you have to be of just that time on task that some of these guys don't have with Cooper?
A lot of great questions today, but this is my favorite. So we get to talk a little ball here. But no, I've never been a big option route thrower or concept in the past.
Technology. I can't get enough of it.
We got McCarthy and stereo.
Yeah, it's a little weird hearing your voice. Get
it right, man. Y'all get it together.
Question: option routes take a lot of time. And option, if you're in the traditional West Coast offense.
Come on, y'all. Come on, get it together.
We need to win this week, because this is getting this thing's turning into a
circus.
Here.
A circus. That's what it is. Come on, y'all, get it together.
But option routes. So
let them he ask a football question. Y'all gonna act crazy. Come on,
if
y'all.
If you're gonna run option routes, you need to live in that world. That's been my experience. You can't dabble on it. Option routes are really not part of the old traditional West Coast offense. I've had quarterbacks in the past that didn't really like them, and it's really about the connection that they have with the receiver.
Damn act together.
I've been in systems where only certain guys run them. This is the most aggressive system that I've been in as far as many people that do run the option routes. And so I think you see our commitment to practice. We practice it a lot, and you have to, because there's intricacies in there. And because if you're clearly going to be about making it quarterback friendly, which our system is, and everything fits his footwork and time clock, option routes, you're putting the decision making into the receiver's hands. It's not into the court. Quarterback obviously has open decision where to throw the ball, but there's decision making in a route as opposed to maybe just one route adjustment. So it takes a lot of extra time.
As a quick follow up to that, Dak might know, all right, Noah in this situation is going to make this decision based on the coverage, or CD is going to make this decision. Does Cooper have that same knowledge with all his guys, or just as a reality of time on task, does he not?
Absolutely. Obviously, we wouldn't be in it if we didn't think so. And it's really not the understanding, because we're definitely way far enough down the line that clearly have an understanding. Versus, you got the release first bump, and then you got to attack the leverage, then you got to reset the stem, and then the decision's made. So, and obviously the decision's being made as they come up. They reset the stem. So, we're all in tune with that. But it's different footwork. They're really the balance of the third and fourth step in the cleats in the ground, and the ability to react to a guy that maybe doesn't push the stem as long, comes out early, as opposed to someone that's really taking their time and getting their depth and then comes. So those are the intricacies of why there's so much time that goes into that route. It's really the quarterback footwork and the accuracy, because at the end of the day, you're running option routes for a reason. You're running for man and match coverage, which you're going to see most of the time in this league. So and they have to have the ability and awareness to punch and pivot and give the quarterback the window to throw versus zone.
Good morning, Coach. Patrick Walker, DallasCowboys.com. A couple quick questions. One, as Jason Peters continues his ramp up, did he take a step forward and do anything more so on Wednesday than he had done to this point? And James Washington, we saw him out there doing some work. How's his progression coming?
Yeah, James is moving forward. I think we're going to do a little more with him next week. But Jason did. He took a lot more individual. So the pad to work is obviously the most important for him today. So we definitely want to ramp it up some in the individual. And that's the plan. But he's got to warm up, and there's a prehab segment with Brett that he goes through, and then there'll be some decisions made from that too.
Is that it?
Get it?
Working
All right.
Left tackle or just left tackle? What is he?
One more question.
Can't tell you, man. Not yet.
Don't tell him. All right, now you want to hold information. All right, man. That was the worst interview ever. But sometimes when those interviews go through, I kind of pause myself and listen to it because there are sometimes some gems in there. And I really appreciate everybody for tuning in. I apologize for the long delay of it, but that's just how it goes, man. When you get those type of breaking news, press conference type of things, you have to, get off of yourself and get things going for what they was talking about. But Cowboy Nation, the rush factor. Not saying that Cooper Rush is the factor, but the rush factor is a twofold, and that's the reason why I went with the title there in this particular episode. I really appreciate everybody for tuning in. If you can do me a huge, huge favor, tell the like button to lean forward just a little bit if you like this content, and just give this. Y'all slap the like button for me, basically. And I really appreciate you guys so much for tuning in to all of my content. All right, so the rush factor would be not just Cooper Rush, but also the Cowboys should rush the ball on the Cincinnati Bengals. The Cincinnati Bengals is a diverse team. They run the ball. They attempt to run the ball. They like to get to running the ball. And they got their playmakers on the outside, and Joe Burrows is Joe Cool. When you look at his tape, you look at his film, you look at his analysis and his reads, you would say he's a risk taker. Don't have the strongest arm in the world, but hey, when it's there, it's there. He's accurate with it. You got to like what you see out of Joe Burrows, and it's a twofold situation with him as well. With that, you can also look at the fact that he will give the ball away. He will take the risk, and you got to rattle him. And to me personally, he's like a Tom Brady Jr. Let me repeat, he is a Tom Brady Jr., but with legs. He can run too. So their game plan would be to establish the run, open up play actions, and target their tight end, Hayden Hurst. You guys remember him, who we kind of scoffed at and laughed at and say he's not worthy to come over here in Dallas land. We don't want to pay that man $2.5 to $3 million. He's not worth it. He's their starting tight end over there, right? And we have Dalton Schultz. I think Hayden Hurst got a little bit more wiggle, right? And they have a better play design. So what we're going to have to do as it relates to how they call plays. And Burrow, he ain't going to give up. The dude, like I said, Burrow is Tom Brady Jr. The dude had 5 interceptions. They called one back last game. Hear me out. Put the butter knife down. He had 2 fumbles, and they only lost by a field goal, right? So you got to contextualize that even if you up, you're not up because you got Jamar Chase, who can take the top off the defense, who can find the soft spots in the zone, who they can put in end rounds, and they have the stabilizer. The Cincinnati Bengals, regardless of the situation of last game, of course, Cowboy Nation, they had all of those hiccups, but they led time of possession. They had the ball for 43 minutes. Let me repeat, they had the ball for 43 minutes, and the Steelers had the ball for like 22, 23 minutes. So it's going to be crazy. Shout out to you, Action Powell. Appreciate you. Shout out to you, Tay Cowboys. Appreciate you. Montana, appreciate you for jumping in. Thank everybody for being part of this episode. So here, shout out to you, Asmodeus. Appreciate you for jumping in. McCarthy sound like he's stuck with Moore and Dak. This is from my guy Greg. When I heard Mike McCarthy, let me give up the notes that he was saying in the presser. He literally said that there are no limitations with Cooper Rush. Now, when he says something like that, no limitations, that can be a twofold situation, right? Like what do you mean when you say, hey, there's no limitations? Are you saying that he can make every throw? He knows the defense, he knows the offense like the back of his hand. What type of there are no limitations is he preferring to, right? So we'll find out. Now, he did talk about Cooper Rush's demeanor. We all heard it live. He was saying that basically Cooper Rush is the quiet storm. He's not as vocal as Dak or as vocal as others, right? And I can only imagine, the quiet one in the room. And I look at this offense, and I really think about it. Who is very vocal? I don't think that CeeDee Lamb got that type of mouth, right, that they talk back and forth. He might wipe his nose every now and then. I think that Ezekiel Elliott, he was very boisterous, talkative in 2016. But ever since my guy, Roger Goodell put the clamps on him, and cut off of his, he haven't been the same since then. Greg Barrett says Parsons is the only vocal guy. So what we need is Kellen Moore to call the play in to Parsons and have Parsons to run inside the huddle and spit out the play and say, hey, y'all get it on 1, 2, 3, and then run back to the sideline. Because I don't really see Dalton Schultz, he block everybody. He's not that boisterous, right? Everybody, we was talking about the last time we had a boisterous guy, like a vocal guy, that's a better way to say it, a vocal guy was Dez Bryant, right, on the offensive side. So this is going to be the quiet storm. J-Hop says D-Law is vocal, right? That's another defensive guy. Who on the offense is vocal? Zach Martin, he don't even, he can hit his pinky toe on the edge of a coffee table, and he probably don't even say ouch, He just keep walking. You be like, hey, you ain't going to say nothing, dog. The same with Tyron Smith when he was healthy, So there's really nobody that I can think of that's very vocal. I don't think Dennis Houston, he could be right behind you. You don't even know he's there. I met him about 3 or 4 times. He's not very vocal, not at this point of his career. I'm trying to think. Noah Brown, he told like, so you don't even really get too much out of Noah Brown. Simi Fihoko, maybe he can say a prayer with you, but I don't think that he's very vocal. Zach is vocal. Nah, Tyler, I don't know, man. I don't know if he's vocal. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about when I say vocal. He'll speak out, but he ain't that vocal. All right, but neither here nor there. That's just the temperaments of how they are. So we're gonna look at this team, and there's nothing wrong with not being vocal, by the way. You don't have to yell at people in order to get results. But that is a unique thing about this team. Peter goes in as left guard. Let's go. I don't know about that, Joshua, but it is crazy. Lyle Collins rolling blunts right now. Okay, we'll find out. Yeah, so when we think vocal, we talking about the person that's going to really reach out and give the motivational speech, who say we're going to bust through the wall and kick, kick tail and don't leave no names behind and all of that. Jason Witten did some, not as much as Dez, yeah. The classic battle of Jason Witten versus Dez on the sideline. That was classic. And then that's brotherhood. We had Kenny the Shark on the show yesterday, and he was talking about these things, about Jimmy Johnson, right? And he was talking about the way Jimmy Johnson installed fear into all of his guys. And he would cut people, right, that fell asleep in the meeting. He would tell people he'll belittle. He would demoralize you, right? But it was all in the name of love, right? And lead by example. Appreciate you, Small. But, that's just things that we need to see from this coaching staff. Leading by examples. Vocal leadership. Speaking of leadership, it ties in. Let's listen to 105.3 The Fan. Can y'all hear audio?
Going today, man. Well, it's going well, guys. I was like, man, we could not connect. I'm out west. If I woke up this early, if I got up this early, I was like, okay, we better make sure that we get this done. So how's everybody doing back that way?
Well, Choppy looks like he's doing great as usual.
I'm alive.
Yeah, you're alive,
No
baby.
point in being angry if you're awake and alive.
But Michael, nobody is feeling very happy or confident right now with this team, man.
Right.
It is tough.
Right. We had the worst possible thing happen to us, which is our quarterback getting hurt the first game right out the box like that. And this thing's been crazy, too, you know?
Right.
Because on one side, you hear 6 to 8 weeks. And then I heard Jerry on the show with you guys, Chop, and he comes out, of course, and throws that hint, talking about, well, listen, we're going to tell you this. He's not going on IR. so now you have to figure out, oh, that means he may be back sooner? And then that thing went crazy. So what we're saying is he's going to be gone from somewhere from 4 to 8 weeks. I don't think it's 4 weeks, and hopefully it's not 8 weeks. But we're probably looking at 6 weeks. And somehow, some way, and I talked about this on First Take, this team has to try to come out of the 6-game run 3-3. 3-3. So now you got a shot. You get that back at maybe 3-4, and you try to make a run for a playoffs.
Is okay. So that's the number.
All right, so who agree with the playmaker? 3-3, and then you try to get out of this gate 3-4. Let me see if I can pull up the Cowboys schedule here, because I should have prepped the show a little bit better. But we're building the plane while it's in the air. You know I love y'all. You know I love y'all, and y'all can't do nothing about it. All right, let me see the Dallas Cowboys schedule. I should have it already somewhere in my build up here, but we'll do it the hard way. All right, so the Cowboys got, and I already know we got the Cincinnati, the Washington team, and then we had the Cincinnati Giants, Washington team, Rams, Eagles. What do you guys see? Are we winning this weekend? We 0-1 right now. Are we winning this weekend? Right. Let me make it more visible. Let me do this. Let me see if I can do it this way. All right. So give me 1 second. We'll build it while it's in the air. Are we winning this weekend? And we'll get it going right here. Bam, bam. Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate everybody for jumping in. Yes, we can. I see a lot of people saying yes. Y'all know I ain't picking us to lose. I'm definitely not picking us to lose. All right, so let me make it a little bit better. Okay. The Dallas Cowboys schedule for the next few games. And it's possible, anything and everything is possible, right? Right? And we got these things right here, these sets of circumstances. We got the Bengals this weekend, right? We got the Giants the next weekend. That's a common opponent. I think that Cooper Rush should still, this game may be a little sloppy for him. He should get everything going by Giants week, right? That's a common opponent. And then we have the Commanders, right? And then we have the Rams, the Eagles. Out of this grouping here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 of the teams that we're playing next, we played within the last 3 to 4 years, especially we played the Lions not too far removed, less than 3 years ago, right? And I think that some of the mindset of the Cowboys players should look at this game and say, all right, we can battle through it. And I can look at this thing and literally say that the Giants, the Commanders, or the Commodores, and the Eagles are all 3 for real common opponents. I can literally say that based upon the Dallas Cowboys defense, that they will give the Giants fit. I can literally stand tall on a mountain and yell out, the Dallas Cowboys defense will give Carson Wentz a run for his money if he struggled to beat the Jacksonville Jaguars, right? I can declare and decree with strong reverence that the Cowboys versus the Eagles can give the Eagles a run for their money. Now, our biggest reservations would be, can our offense move? Can our offense score? Can our offense do something? Those are the things that we will have to contextualize. Perceptionist says 2 and 4. Let me read some of your comments, man. Let me scroll back up. 2 and 5. We keeping it live. 3 and 3 will get it. 2 and 4 at best. Okay, and I mean, so where you see the 2? Let me see, for those who say the 2 and 4, who we winning the 2 games from, and that means a lot. If you only beat the Giants and the Commodores, right? Then you still have a leg up in your division because you played 2 divisional games, right? And I'm not finna say that the Eagles will hand us that L. But let's do this then. Let's play this game. Let's say the Cowboys only win the Giants, the Commodores, and the Eagles. That would literally put us 3-0 in our division. Terrible everywhere else. I would take that. I think that this team, this defense, the defense of the Cowboys can still give a run for the money on the NFC East. I truly believe that. And I know people are already panicking and they got their hands all over it and they saying,
You must be out of your goddamn mind.
It's okay, man. Y'all can feel your way, But every year, the Giants, the Commodores, the Eagles, they all say that they better. They better than the Cowboys.
You don't think 2 and 4 they've got a chance at the division anymore?
Well, man, 2 and 4 may be hard. 2 and 4 may be hard because of this. Do you guys see Philadelphia Eagles schedule in front of you? You see how easy that is. And they got off to, a good start with the win. And then and when you get a couple of those wins together, if you're the Eagles, you start feeling good and you start playing better than you really think you are, and then you really become as good as you think you are. So it's that process right now. Now we got to make sure we're watching those Eagles.
It is, to me, they could be 6-2, Philadelphia, after 8 games. And if they're 6-2, I think you're right. I don't think you could be. I don't think you can start the season anything less than 3-3 if they're going to wind up being 6-2. We've been talking about culture a lot this morning. Do you think there's a culture issue with this franchise?
Uh-oh.
That's a great question, Chop. Because when you're looking at other teams and then you're looking at our team, it looks like sometimes something different. You know what I'm saying? Like you see Pittsburgh. Nobody expected Pittsburgh to win that game and play that game. But they went out, they played so hard together and gave themselves a chance to win that football game, and then ended up winning the football game. That's the thing we feel like. Sometimes I feel like we miss, like that strong connectivity. That even when you're in a tough spot, somehow you come out of it, like Pittsburgh came out of Cincinnati.
You guys, your team, and we were just talking with Babe about this, but when we talked with Darren Woodson, he said y'all had a team full of alphas. And I think that was one of those things that it looked like you could not look around the room and not see a dude that was ready to take it all on. Let's go do all this. But there was an identity, and you were like the heartbeat. But Troy Aikman, you will always defer and say they were his teams. Where was that balance of who got how the pecking order went with all those guys? Because right now it looks like it's on the verge and on the cusp of becoming a Micah team, but Dak's still your quarterback.
Right. But Dak's a great leader, and Dak communicates and chill and talk with all of these guys and lead the guys. But you need somebody on that other side with the same kind of thing. Right. Charles Haley had that.
He took the words out my mouth. Charles Haley. This team started to really ramp up when Charles Haley got there. But, man, that's about 32, 33 years ago, man. Let's listen to the playmaker, though. Come on.
You know, Darren Woodson, guys that can get everybody going. This thing has to be set up like a company, for real. So you can make Troy maybe call him the CEO, right? So he's the CEO. But every position, you have to have general managers running every position. There has to be leaders at the wide receiver, at the offensive spot, at the offensive line, defensive line, because that leader, you have to be in charge of getting your group ready to play. And then, of course, I was in charge to make sure everybody was ready to play. But it really is run like a company. You got the head guy, but you have to have like leaders at every position, and we were fortunate enough to have that.
Now, when you were watching this game on Sunday night, and early in the game, it was tough sledding to get any offense going, to get anything moving downfield. What was Tampa doing that the Cowboys have to figure out and fix with their offense?
And that's the whole thing. What all Tampa did was
talk to us, man.
Stay around CeeDee Lamb. You know what I'm saying? They were dropping back in zone.
Listen, man. Listen to the playmaker, man. And a shout out to you, Paul. Thank you. The Cowboys need to be at least one game over 500 when Dak get back. It's designed for a great storyline, though. You know, if the team semi-struggles but still get wins, and then you get your quarterback back, and then we have more of our fluffy schedule on the back end. But I would say what you don't want is to rush Dak Prescott, Paul. But that is a good optimism, right, to be above 500 or stay around close to 500. And then when you get your quarterback back, it's all about getting hot at the latter part of the season. And we've seen things like this happen before, right? And I'm not saying that this will be the same storyline, but the Denver Broncos, I believe the year that they won the Super Bowl with Peyton Manning, their backup quarterback kind of stepped into the gap, and he was able to just keep the team afloat just a little bit. And then when Peyton Manning got back, he was fresh. He was ready to go with it, even though he couldn't throw the ball far down the field. His wisdom and understanding of the game was there. My only thing is with Dak, I would feel extremely confident with all of this if we had some wide receiver guys and a coach, like offensive coordinator guy, really in tune with this team. I think that with CeeDee Lamb, just CeeDee Lamb alone is not good enough. I hope that they look at this situation and slowly bring Gallup in. They shouldn't rip off the Band-Aid now and say, all right, Gallup, you playing this game. No, they shouldn't do that, because what will happen is just like what happened with the Chris Godwin, right, for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You get soft tissue issues elsewhere, and that's how he hurt his hammy. All right, so let's listen to more what he had to say.
Zone coverage, all right? But now, just because you're in the zone coverage, it doesn't mean you're going to stay in your spot. So the linebackers that would start out 5 yards from the line of scrimmage, they're dropping. Every time that ball went to CD, you saw 3 or 4 people around him.
Yep.
3 or 4 people around him. And this is something he has to learn and figure when you are a true number one. You always going to have 3 or 4 people around you. Mm-hmm. That's just the way it is. Mm-hmm. Every time they come in on Wednesday morning, they put 88 up there. It's the first number they put up there. So people are conditioned. When nobody comes in your space and you're playing the zone, those guys were dropping, trying to run up under CeeDee Lamb. Now, get this, guys. Get this. Because CD is in a spot here. Because he had that kind of game in his first game, supposedly being the number one receiver, and a couple of those balls went through his hands. Now everybody's going to say, oh, is he a true number one? Is he a true number one? And now he has to go out and prove he is with the backup quarterback. With the backup quarterback. That's a hard thing to do.
But here's the thing. Who's a Texans fan, right? Who's a Texans fan? Can show of hands if you follow the Texans, or even if you follow the Texans, right? You don't have to be necessarily their fan, but you can literally do this. And I'm going somewhere with this. DeAndre Hopkins, I believe in his first few years, never had a true quarterback throwing him the ball. He was always figuring things out, building the plane while it's in the air type of wide receiver, right? And DeAndre Hopkins, and I can't wait to see him back out there on the field. Of course, he got that PED situation going, cloud over his head. He's been suspended. But there's no excuses. When you're good, you're good, when you can find ways, to high point the ball, bring it out of the sky, DeAndre Hopkins will make a bad quarterback look good. He would literally look the ball, like when that ball was behind CD, DeAndre Hopkins would have reached around and still somehow come up with the ball. And you would have been like, whoa, how in the world? Hey, look, man, how did he catch that? It was some crazy stuff that he would do in the end zone with one hand, right? And he'll pull it all the way out like he's yelling for Thor's, hammer, and he'll bring the ball in. So, and playmaker will say it too. The playmaker will say it too. The ball don't have to be right in the 8 and 8. It would have to just be in the zip code, in the proximity for me to catch it. I'll go get it. And the playmaker during his time, he'll push off, body off, and everything. But great wide receivers figure it out. Larry Fitz was like that for a long time as well. Yeah, Larry Fitz, because he really didn't have a quarterback, Larry Fitz was that dude, And then that's why when he got Kurt Warner, we was like, damn. And that's the only reason why I despise and I can't stand Kurt Warner to this day is what he did in that doggone Super Bowl. I'm sitting like, dude, and y'all know I can't rock with the Steelers, And that doggone Kurt Warner, I said, God, dog, you had all of the weapons, you had the run game. What the world are you thinking in that end zone, red zone? But that's a story of another day. You got me up on that. Andre Johnson, yeah. Look, action. You speaking some good facts over there. They had Andre Johnson and DeAndre Hopkins in that who the Cowboys, we can't talk much about that. But they never had the quarterback to match over there for the Texans. It's just crazy how things worked for them, though. But let's listen to more what they had to say.
And that's kind of what Juju went through. Juju Smith-Schuster.
Mm-hmm.
And now he's not there in Pittsburgh anymore.
Mike, how long did it take you to get used to that star tribute? Come out of college, you go in the NFL, to get used to the fact that every game you have NFL dudes that are focused solely on you. How long does that take to get used to?
Listen, you better get used to it right away.
Right.
If you are a number one receiver. And let me tell you this also, guys, even when CD, so like those passes CD dropped, people say, oh, man, is the alligator arming these balls? Is he worried? Is he scared? Because there were so many people around him. This is exactly why, because the book tells me, catch the ball in your hands, catch it with your hands. And that's what the book says. But I said, whoever wrote the damn book ain't play wide receiver like me. I don't care what that says. They didn't play. So when CD's in those situations where all those people are around him, you see he put up his hands trying to catch that ball, and that ball went through his hands.
Mm-hmm.
Because your body has a natural defense mechanism. Natural. And your body will naturally tighten up if it's about to feel impact. Ain't nothing you can do. This is not a decision. This is not about courage. There's just nothing you can do. It's a natural defense mechanism.
Boy, Mike, Jerry Jones, you got all of this wisdom right here with Michael Irvin. Michael Irvin need to, once a week, You got the money. There's no salary cap as it relates to coaching. And I know that you want philosophies and principles taught by the wide receiver coach or what have you. But there should be a situation once a week on a Wednesday. I'm a billionaire with a B. I made $8.9 billion. I would literally fly Troy in, fly Michael Irvin in, fly Emmett in, and you already got Big Nate in the house, right? And I like what they doing with Big Cat, Leon Lett. I feel him on that. And Charles Haley, he go down there and coach with the flip-flops on and everything like that. But there should be zero excuses, zilch, of the playmaker not going down here to Dallas at least once a week to talk to these wide receivers. Because here's the thing, it's been poisoned with the mind. Ever since we had Terrence Williams, everybody was like, he's a body catcher, he's a body catcher. Michael Irvin finna go and talk about catching the ball and not being afraid to use your body. Go back, one of the better highlights I ever seen, it was in the Super Bowl. Michael Irvin, it was a boundary pass, and it was a horrible ball. But Michael Irvin turned back inside, it was against the Bills, and he whipped his whole leg out there and positioned his body in midair. And he used his leg for the defensive side to secure the ball that was coming into his frame. And the defender couldn't get through his leg nor his frame. And he caught the ball, and then as soon as he touched the ground, he spent, and the defender was all out on the grass eating grass. But what people do now is they will say, hey, man, he's a body catcher. No. Sometimes you got to position your body to be in the way. It's kind of like playing basketball, getting down in the paint. Bump it off. Use your body, baby. And that's where I believe he's going to. Yeah, against the Bills, Action Power. Baby, you got a good memory, man, against the Bills for that touchdown. You remember Action? That boy hit a wrench out his leg. I wish y'all could see the whole frame of me. He wrenched out his leg, man, and the defender was like, hey, man, that's cheated, man. Nah, I'm trying to win the game. Swung his body to the side. Sometimes you, look, that pass, and I know which pass he's talking about. Pass was behind, old boy. Shoot, get your body in there. Get your body in there. Don't try to get too cute.
But your body tightens up. And when your body tightens up, that's the worst thing for catching football. If it gets too tight, the ball hits your hand and fall off. Or like CD did, your body gets so tight, you're not able to close down and squeeze on the football, and the ball goes through your hands. He has to learn, when I'm in that kind of traffic, I got to put my body on this ball. I got to catch that ball in the basket, put my body on the ball, because my body's going to get tight. But if I just catch it in the basket, it doesn't affect me. This is what I had to break down. That's what it's the difference when I'm running a first or second down slant. I'm trying to score a touchdown. When I'm running a third down slant, I'm putting my body on that ball because I'm just trying to get a first down. He has to figure out those little things.
The difference between being, one guy and the elite guy. On the line is Odyssey.
But if I just catch it in the basket,
I'm listening to this again. Rewind.
This is what I had to break down. That's what it's the difference when I'm running a first or second down slant. I'm trying to score a touchdown. When I'm running a third down slant, I'm putting my body on that ball because I'm just trying to get a first down. He has to figure out those little things.
The difference between
kind of like pick your poison, and live to fight another day. And patient game. And one thing I can tell you guys, man, if you guys are not aware, man, listen to my guy Collier. I've been saying this ever since he did films. He's the best film analysis out there. Collier Media, man, and he don't do it like the Collier was like live and do like 3 or 4 videos a day, 5 or 6 videos a day. He'll have 1 million subscribers, man. I'm for real, man. I ain't lying to kick it. That Collier Media, on his breakdown analysis of Kellen Moore, and the offense and Dak Prescott is objective, he'll put me to sleep, man. He would literally crush everybody's numbers, man, but he just don't do it. He's very precise with his work. And baby, when he broke down like just the nuances of football in general, the dude belongs on. Like, I can see a special, HBO special, Hard Knocks type of deal of Okoye sitting down in a chair and with the damn visual effects, right? Okoye did that film analysis on the quarterback. He pointed out things that Kellen Moore need to work on, and especially with Dak Prescott foolishly going through things. And the problem is with Dak Prescott and Kellen Moore is that you can't get out of something that never been put in. Write that down. You can't get out of something that never was put in. And the problem is with the Cowboys, I think that Dak Prescott was destined to be good in the NFL, but he needed wisdom and understanding from a true coach that can pour upon him wisdom and knowledge. It's kind of like this right here, and I'm not saying that he is this type of guy. It's kind of like watching Michael Jordan without Phil Jackson. Like, you can see, like, hey, there's some good talent in there with this player. But you need a coach to extract or pour upon their knowledge and wisdom of understanding of the natural flow of the sport and pour it upon their players. But what the Cowboys are trying to do is squeeze Kellen Moore knowledge and understanding of the game and pour it upon Dak. And that's just it's not going to work. Dak need hard coaching. He needs somebody to call his BS out, right? And all of the Dak people that's going to say, oh, law, you switching on Dak. No, this is just me giving you 1,000 truths. Right? When you're looking for only one, I'm giving you 1,000. And not nothing less. 1,000 truths is the Cowboys are wasting this guy's talent, because even the Dak Prescott core haters can say, hey, there's talent in there, right? Even the core of the core haters, they can look at it and see that, man, there's some talent in there. But what do you have on the opposite side that can extract that talent to make it tangible? Because what we've been saying is that, hey, man, this dude got the intangibles. We can literally see the intangibles, right? Like there are things that we saw the intangibles, right? But how can we make the intangible tangible? And that's through stern coaching, right? And that is you're not going to get that from Kellen Moore. So what I'm trying to say is this game is a patience man's game. You can't go vertical offense without a clear, concise structure of scheme to fit your said system. Right? And you got to be, as the offensive coordinator, have balls of steel, stones, right? To chastise the player that's running your system if they F it up. And if you don't have those things put into place, and it's all, hey, we'll get it, oh, shucks, we'll get them on the next drive, or oh, shucks, we'll get them on the third drive or the fourth drive, then there would be no growth in it. And that's what Kenny the Shark was saying, literally, the other day on the show, is that Jimmy, he literally, and I'm going to say this again, Kenny the Shark said his father was 6'3", 289 pounds, and he feared him. But equally, he said he was a big, black, 6'3", 283-pound guy, and he feared him. But he feared just the same or even more the 5'7" Jimmy Johnson, the white short guy, right? Who was boisterous, who held people accountable, who looked in the face and the eyes of 6'4", 6'5" guys who 330 pounds, who talk that stuff. And that goes a long way. I don't think that Kellen Moore put the fear of anything in any of these guys. So I'm quite sure when we break down the penalties and we say, okay, the Cowboys had 10 penalties, lo and behold, 8 out of the 10 penalties was on the offensive side. There's no accountability on the offensive side. There's nobody that will say, hey, F up again. You'll be in that stance for the full practice. There's no chastising. Kellen Moore may be brilliant, but it will not be anytime soon. It may take him another 3 to 4 years. It may take 3 to 4 years or even more. Or he may not ever get there.
Between being, one guy and the elite guy. On the line is Odyssey NFL insider Michael Irvin. Insider Calls brought to you by Driveway.com. Looking for a car? Go to Driveway.com where you can get pre-qualified, buy a car, and get it delivered. Michael, one of the big topics is still, and I think a lot of people are still kind of, well, our offense could be different. Do you think the Cowboys should have held on to Amari Cooper?
Yeah, that was the one thing I kept saying.
Yeah.
We could have won that game with Amari. I really do believe that, giving us the opportunity, giving us a chance. And they knew we were trying to go to CD. They were saying, we'll let Noah Brown beat us. We'll let any one of these guys beat us. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I think it would have been hella difference if we had Amari. And I'm saying the line did good enough. In their young line. So they did good enough. It was that we didn't have the receivers.
Mahomes threw like 20 passes the preseason. He knew he lost Tyreek Hill. He wanted to get some kind of run with his basically his new wide receivers. Do you think it was a mistake to not play Dak at all in the preseason?
Let me hear.
Yeah, I do. But I think it's a mistake whenever someone sits out the whole preseason. Aaron Rodgers, I think. That was a mistake. So you see what he looks like, and you see what those guys look like. This is just a new NFL. But there's no way, not even in these controlled scrimmages, where you can really get game-like feeling, game-like action, but in a game.
This is feeling.
This is it. There's it's absolutely impossible. So yeah, I think he should have gotten some play in the preseason, and I hope from this year, Dax makes sure that he demands to get him some play to get ready. Tom Brady came back and said, no, I need to see this. I need to get out here and see this in that last preseason game. If Tom needs to get out there and see it, you need to get out there and see it.
Yeah. No, yeah.
I thought so Tom did play in the last preseason game for the Bucs. Y'all let me know, because I didn't know, man. I didn't know. Matter of fact, let me see if I can pull it up myself. Hold on. ESPN. Preseason week 3. That makes a hell of a difference. He was 6'8", 44 yards, 5.5. Oh my God, I didn't even know. And that's Tom Brady. I thought he didn't play a single snap in preseason. So this makes me recalibrate everything. How did I miss this? I should have been prepping myself for this. And I know people say, well, 6'8", that's not a lot, but it's the psychological thing of it, especially when you have new guys, right? New weapons, new core principles and things like that. And one of the things I tell people, yes, Brian Bradford, yes, for one series. And that's what I was banging on the table, like, hey, don't take what you did last year and then apply it to this year. Every year's different, right? So many people were complacent to say, well, hey, he didn't throw a single pass in preseason last year, right? Well, based upon your results from last year, if you're still doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results, what do that equal, right? You didn't win the Super Bowl last year. You should mix up some things, right? You should change some things around year to year. I promise you, as you guys look at, even into this backdrop that I have, like even this studio that I'm in, right? I changed it from year to year. Like that spinning helmet was on a whole different platform last year. Like I didn't have my little helmet thing right here. I changed it up. I painted the wall, right? Instead of it being vanilla, and I took the curtains down. You know, you want to make some type of element of change. You don't want to stay the same. And shout out to you, T-Dub, you know, insanity law. Yeah. So I think that if you gave Dak Prescott a little series there, maybe he'll be confident a little bit. And if he get hit, right? If he get hit a couple times, right? That's spilled milk now. But the Cowboys, we got to roll and we got to sit behind Cooper Rush, and I'm rooting for Cooper Rush. I want Cooper Rush to get in here to be undefeated. And people fail to realize it's crass of Cowboys to root against their own players because they don't like a player, right? The difference is between me and the haters is that, yes, I literally want Cooper Rush to be better than Dak Prescott. Believe it or not. I want Will Grier to be better than Dak Prescott. Ben DiNucci. I want whoever the backup quarterback to be better than the starting quarterback when they get out there to play. I want Cooper Rush this coming Sunday to be better than Joe Burrows. I want him to perform. We need him, Cowboy Nation. So don't get hung up on the player. It's about the star. It's bigger than the player.
Yeah, I completely agree with you on that one, Michael. Now, I am kind of curious with this weekend coming up against Cincinnati. What does Cooper Rush have to do? Like, I don't think he can try to be something he's not. What is Cooper Rush? What's his responsibility with this team?
Man, Cooper Rush. Did you see us on the other day, right? I'm telling these people, I'm like, listen. And I can't take it. I just can't take it. And at the risk of losing all of my blackness, I had to just say it. Stop it with this Colin Kaepernick stuff. No, Colin Kaepernick is not coming to Dallas. Every time some situation and quarterback comes up, everybody want to throw out Colin Kaepernick. I said, okay, as black as I am, I'm going to risk losing this because stop saying that. Because, dude, I hadn't played football in over 5 years. I want my quarterback to have seen a full-fledged NFL blitz somewhere in the last 3 years. I think somewhere in the last 3 years. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And Deshaun Watson, he was on out a year. When he came back, you saw what he looked like. And Deshaun Watson was a better quarterback. So I get that kind of stuff, and I say stop it. I told her I'll take my chances with Cooper Rush. He won a game last year, and hopefully he can get us some of these games this year. Yeah, and Cooper Rush has to just play the game. He has to play the game in front of him. And Kellen has to call a great game and get the ball out of Cooper Rush's hands. We want the ball in everybody else's hands. Get it out of his hands quickly.
That's a good call from the playmaker, man. All right, so that's 105.3 The Fan. I needed that laugh, Cowboy Nation. All right, so what we gonna do now, man? Oh, my God. I know y'all needed that laugh as well. All right, so as promised, man, we're going to do the wheel of names, or the law of the law of will, you know, however we can say it. And we're going to the wheel of law. Yeah. What we're going to do is it's going to be a giveaway. One ticket to a Cowboy fan that's in the local area that supported the nation via Cash App or the Stars and Super Chats within that time frame. And if you win, please let me know immediately if you can go to this game. Let's go. don't got no winner. Remove that name. Go. Let's roll it again. Come on. What happened to the name? I know what I did wrong. My bad. Remove. I got a lot of blank slots. Give me 1 second here. I know what's going on. A lot of blank slots in it. Let's roll this thing again, baby. There we go. We're gonna fall on the name now, baby. Keith Floyd, you are the winner. Keith Floyd, you won, baby. Keith Floyd. Keith Floyd, man, I appreciate you so much, man. Keith Floyd been around for a long time, and if you can, hit me up, man. Hit me up via Twitter DM, Instagram DM, Facebook DM, and jump on in there, man. I don't know why. In this, you the one, you win, you won. I got a ton of, I don't know why this wheel did that, but all of these are like blank slots. And these are all of the guys, the entries. We had over 160 names on these entry. So all of these people right here, I appreciate y'all so much. All right, so let's get it. So Keith Floyd, if you're watching, let me know you won. You won, and then we'll kick it back up. Shout out to my guy Keith. All right, so with that being said, Cowboy Nation, I got my guy that's been waiting here. 434, you're live.
What's up, Law? How you doing today,
I'm
sir?
doing well, man. Talk to me, man. Talk to me.
Hey, we keep on talking about Mike McCarthy, and we keep on talking about potentially handing the offensive reins over to Mike McCarthy.
Right.
So this is what I'm a little bit confused on, because when Mike McCarthy when Green Bay let Mike McCarthy go, from what I understand, Peter King from NBC actually reported that he had set up a shed and a basketball court and was going over quarterback analysis with 3 different coaches, and his offense was stale in Green Bay and wanted to fix it.
Right.
Why haven't we taken a look at Mike McCarthy? Because I have seen, glimpses of Mike McCarthy at times in the offense. So I'm just kind of concerned on why we haven't done that and handed over the reins a little bit more to Mike McCarthy.
That's two folds. Meaning that if Mike McCarthy step out on a limb and be the head coach plus the offensive coordinator, call the plays, then what we seen now, like 19-3, he would lose all of his power to do such. He would lose all of his room to survive, because there will be a clear shot that, hey, this guy, why would you have him on his team if he can't motivate the team to get beyond, a touchdown? If he is the veteran, seasonal head coach or what have you call him plays. Whereas now, what kept Jason Garrett alive was shift blaming. Like, oh, it's not me. It's this guy. It's that guy, right? Or it's Scott Linehan, or is the previous offensive coordinator Bill Callahan. If you need a hand, it was this hand. So it was everybody's fault but his. But then when all of that, it took us about 9.9 years before all of that came about, to everyone looking at Jason Garrett say, hey man, you can't blame no one else but yourself now. But I think that Mike McCarthy, when he got the job, he lied to kick it, and that's why we see what we see right now. I think that Peter King thing was just all fluff.
Well, and I understand that. But my other question to you, Law, is, and I've seen a lot of it on the chat today. You know, my question is, let's say Cooper Rush does come in here, and first off, I think that Dak Prescott coming back any sooner before the bye week is going to be problematic for the Cowboys, first off. Secondly, I would rather him wait to come after the bye week. And Law, I'm going to throw this question off at you. I'm sure you're going to start getting a line, and I want to let everybody else get in. However, if we go into that bye week, let's say 6-2, do we stick with Cooper Rush, or do we go on with Dak? Law, love your show, man. Have a good day. How about them Cowboys?
How about him, man? How about him? That's a good call from him. If we 6-2, I think that you would say, hey, no need to rush Dak Prescott back into that and let us continue to roll with the hot hand. That's been the philosophy of the Dallas Cowboys, even with Dak Prescott when Tony Romo got back, right? It was like, hey, we're going to roll with the hot hand. I think we was like 8-1 or 8-2, whatever it was. And the Cowboys elected to just keep Dak Prescott in the game or what have you versus going with the older guy, Tony Romo. So I think that will be the philosophy. The only time that they didn't roll with the hot hand was last year, right? The Cowboys ended up saying that, okay, yes, Terrence Steele is playing good, but we know we can get better at that spot. So they kicked Terrence Steele to the left tackle spot, and they rolled La'el Collins back in. And that was a wonderful recipe for disaster because you kind of cut the legs off from under Terrence Steele's feet. So, or cut the legs off from under him. So I don't know, Cowboy Nation, but 6-2, the mindset, the temperature would be different. Rush jerseys would be selling off the chain, and I think that the Cowboys would lean on the money aspect and to Dak Prescott situation. It's a unique one because you can't trade him right at this point, and I don't think that people would be looking to trade Dak Prescott, by the way. But it will be a situation where Dak Prescott just have to sit back and wait and watch the rush rise and do all of the other things. But that's just how the story of the NFL goes. But let me tell you guys, if you thinking that Cooper Rush will be 6-2, then you are just as optimistic as Jerry Jones, right? What's up? Ali says he's out. Gallup need to be out. Gallup need to be out. All right. Yeah. Let's let the next caller in. I got MJ. You live.
What up, Law? How you doing?
Man, well, man, I can't complain. Talk to me, man.
Oh, I was on Steele's show early. I was telling everybody, like I said, where we gonna win? It's Kellen Moore, all the right plays, and then San Francisco, everybody doing that San Francisco defense, 4 pass rush, 7-man back. So Cincinnati might do the same thing because they know Kellen like to throw. So we don't run, and they run for 150 on us, we're going to get our butt beat. Now, we run the ball 25 to 30 times and scare them sometimes because Cowboys play better when they play close up and bump and runners. That's when we play better. But if they play zone on us, for some reason, we don't know how to play call. So that's what I'm thinking. We got to play better on the run, and we got to play running the ball. If we don't, we're gonna get beat off.
Well, we got to play. We got to play some football, man. Get back to running. And here's the thing. I think that Cooper Rush, by him playing the preseason games with the 2s and 3s, his mental mindset should be, all right, cool. I'm familiar with the pace and the speed of the game. I'm not saying that it's the same, but at least he should get a good vibe and a feeling with my guy CeeDee Lamb, even though CeeDee Lamb didn't play any preseason games. So CeeDee Lamb should be a tick better this game. He should feel and get things going a whole lot faster. I think Simi Fehoko will have an amazing situation and scenario there. Me too. Yeah. So those are the things there.
And one more other thing, Lon. Like I say, why I'm so been quiet because I was disappointed in who Dan Quinn had out there on the defense.
Yeah.
He played 92 getting destroyed, and in preseason I was telling Steele, 94 they got cut, 52 they got cut, played better than 92, and number 50 played the best middle linebacker in preseason. He's faster. He's the one that would have helped number 11. I'm like, come on, Dan Quinn, don't favoritism these guys because they got killed over there on the run. And Cincinnati see that.
Well, let me ask you this. Before you go into that, what is player personnel?
Man.
Who's the president of player personnel?
Will. Come on, Will.
No. Who's the president? Will is the vice president.
The owner.
Stephen Jones is the president of player and personnel. So if you think of it, right? If you really think of it, he controls those things, not the coaches on the lower level, right? Quinn, all he does is stock the shelves. He don't go out there and buy he don't buy the inventory. He can put in demands, but he just gotta deal with what he got. And the player or personnel, the president, he's saying that I paid this money for Leighton Vander Esch. His jerseys are still in all of my stores. I need for him to be visible. I need for him to make plays. I need for him to see if he is worth the contract for next year. Those are things that we look at, and it's not about, look, this is business. This is not about football. If it was about football, Devon Harper was the leading tackler in preseason. Of course, we're talking about preseason. But he's a 4-4 guy. He's fast. He's physical. He go to point A to point B real quick, sideline to sideline. I think if you match that up with Parsons, that would be looking good. Just like what we saw out of the Detroit Lions when they put Rodriguez out there, Malcolm Rodriguez. He was flying everywhere as a linebacker. But you talking about football, baby. This is business.
That's what I be watching too. I be watching your film section, and then I watch all the games, and I'm like, man, this number 50 is a beast.
Yep, he's a beast.
We playing hating ourselves. And number 92, I'm sorry, he better show something this week. Forget that $7 million. If we don't play good, man, I'm not starting him, man.
Yep.
Put the rookie in. I'd rather the rookies play.
Dorrance Armstrong. Look, they gave Dorrance Armstrong the Hollywood treatment, because I don't think that he played a snap in preseason.
He's hard.
And I was like, hold on. And then we had Isaiah Stanback on the show 2 weeks ago, like week before. And I was like, hey, man, I really didn't get a chance to see Dorrance Armstrong out there, blah, 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 right? And he was like, well, no, Dorrance Armstrong do X, Y, and Z, and Z, Y, and X. I was like, oh, okay. But I knew what my eyes said, and I didn't want to go back and forth because I'm not a debating type of guy. But it revealed itself that last game, only one person generated pressure on a consistent level, and his last name is Parsons. No one else on the defensive front.
No one else.
No one else. Yeah.
In preseason, 94 and 52 outplayed 92.
Yeah, but you know they're not finna eat $7 million or eat Dorrance Armstrong, and I think that just Bronson. Yes, who you talking about? 94 is Bronson. I don't think that they play the same spot. He's an interior guy, more of a 3-tech in my opinion, and then 52. Mika, you know he's pretty good. I think that they brought him back for the practice squad, I believe. But I feel what you're saying, though, fam.
Man, I like playing the best players, man. That's how I was brought up. I don't play you because I'm like, man, sorry, I got to win. But number 50, we missing it, guys. We said it long. number 50, and you show the film, please show them the film. It doesn't matter in the practices and in the preseason. That man attacked the middle.
The conference has been locked.
Man, I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you, man. I'm going to have to get ready. But I appreciate you for calling in, MJ.
Thank you, fam.
No doubt, man.
Day. Yes, sir.
Shalom to you, man.
How about them Cowboys?
How about them Cowboys? Really appreciate you, man. All right, so that was MJ. All right, so let me squeeze around. Got my guy, the OT, man. What's good?
What's up?
What's good with you, man?
Man, I was so angry on Sunday night, man. Like I almost lose it, man.
Yeah.
You know, it was bad. It was bad. The coaches were bad. Bad coaching. Everything was just bad across the board.
Right.
You know, it was real bad. You know, and I was on the firing squad, man. I was like, they need to let what's his name go, or the offensive coordinator go, or Kedimo go. Cause come on, man. The run game was working well. Why didn't no one talk to the run game?
Try to get
I don't
killed.
get it.
Try to get killed, man. They try to get
Man,
killed.
I don't know. Something was working. You went down and scored points. Why you change it up? And everything just went downhill from there, man. I got your ticket and it's ready.
You got the ticket
so
is ready.
You can log in. Yeah, you
It's
can
Keith
log
Floyd.
in. And
Yeah. I appreciate you for the ticket for the game. So it's ready. So I just log in. You texted to me, right?
yeah, so I texted to you, but try to log in and see if, because it's gonna be like a mobile ticket. It's in
StubHub.
section 200, 217,
Oh, that's a good
or
section.
row number 5. So
That's a good section, man.
yeah,
Oh, my God.
I was pissed off, man. I was really, really angry, man. Like it was bad, man. We may not have wide receivers, but nah, the play calling was bad, real bad. It was bad, man.
It was
Hopefully
terrible.
we can bounce back this week. I just hoping we can do something better and overcome what happened last week, Sunday, you know. So let's go, Cowboys.
Appreciate
I still
you,
love
man.
my Cowboys.
Hey, we gonna come out victorious, man, this weekend, man. I'm all hoping for it, man. But I appreciate you so much, man.
Hopefully, man.
Yes,
Hopefully,
indeed.
man. At least we can be 1-1.
No doubt, man. That's my guy, man, the OT, man. Appreciate you so much for calling in.
All right, Lord.
Appreciate you. That's the guy that's sponsoring the game ticket giveaway. He said it's gonna be seat like row 200. So that's a real good seat right there, and row 5, I believe, something like that. So Keith Floyd, and I know Keith Floyd normally watches, man. I hope you in Dallas, man. I can't wait to give you this ticket. If not, this is what I'm gonna do. This is what I'm gonna do since we got more people watching now, and I kind of locked the phones because I don't want the show to go too long. I got other things. I gotta really do some film assessment and get things going. But bear with me. Let me see if I can pull this up once again. I'm kind of mad and upset at my will because it really got a lot of blank slots in there. If I can find it, Will. What is that? Y'all bear with me, Cowboy Nation. I really appreciate you so much for jumping in. All right, here we go. I'm going to roll the wheel again, and I'm going to roll it 3 times. And then with the 3 times, then we'll go in the pecking order. So Keith Floyd, you're in slot number 1 to win this, right? And then we'll see who's number 2. Come on, let's roll it. It landed on another blank slot for some reason. I'm gonna see if I can fix this wheel. Let's see if we can fix this wheel. Still got a lot of blank slots in there. Man, what's going on with their wheel? Alright, let me see. Shuffle the names. It should take out all of those blank slots. Alright. Let's go once again. There you go. He took all those blank slots. There's like a whole bunch of blank slots. Oh, Murphy Law. Man, Murphy, get out of the way. All right, let's go. Let's run this thing again. Let me kick the music off. All over again, baby. Come on. Should be no blank slots now. Yeah. Boom. Wayne Clark. Wayne and things, baby. You second runner-up, and let's do the third runner-up for this. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Thank you guys so much. Third slot will be Eric Armstrong. So, in this order, Keith Floyd, you number 1. And then let me pull up the second person. The second person will be Wayne Clark, and the third person is Eric Armstrong. So those three, man, y'all gotta hurry up and hit me up. We got the tickets available. Let's go. Wayne's World. If you live watching now, let a brother know, man. And I really want you guys to come on out to this event and to the Cowboys game versus Cincinnati. You may be the good luck. You may be the good luck. Henry, man, you're live, man. 936, you're in the mix.
You may be the good luck.
I'm gonna jump back to you, Henry. Henry, I'm gonna jump back to you, man. 336, you're live.
Hey, what's going on, Law?
Talk to me, man.
Tom Taylor, I was doing all right.
I'm doing good, man. Talk to me, man.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to call in Monday and Tuesday event, so I'm gonna just a little bit. Just want to say a little bit about Dak Prescott. Got a lot of people talking junk about Dak, man, but they got the man set up to fail if you think about it. They taking less away from him. They got people when they play the defense on them, man. They got 6, 7, 8 out there in the zone and cover 2. How in the world you gonna throw a ball when you got 2 receivers going out in a cover 2? And they got 8 defensive backs out there. So I mean, Dak didn't play good. I ain't gonna give him no excuses. I ain't gonna give him no pass, but he didn't play good. But they got the man set up to fail. Then they say he got an audible out of a play. If he audible out of a play, he gonna audible into something that Kellen Moore has already got conjured up already. So he gonna audible to something bad already because he set up to fail. It's almost like a Amari Cooper situation. They don't want him to succeed because of the money that they're paying him. That's what it looked like to me. First thing they're gonna say, look at his numbers, look at his stats.
Right.
So we're not gonna give him another. We're not gonna give him another contract if he's playing this bad. We're gonna get rid of him and because they want to draft a quarterback. They want to do everything in the draft anyway, but they want to pay so much money out to some of the players. So hey, I'm gonna ride with Dak. I don't care what nobody say, man. Like I said, he didn't play a good game, but nobody didn't play a good game. But Michael Parsons, he's the only one who played a good game. And the defense, he played pretty decent. But they got the man set up to fail to me, Law. I just like, if you get a raise, if I'm making $20 an hour, then my job comes to me and say, hey, we're going to pay you $30 an hour and load those trucks. But instead of using a forklift, we're going to give you a pallet jack. If you got less to work with, you ain't going to be able to work fast or do your job like you need to do it. So that's just my take on it, Law. I'm going to ride with the Dallas Cowboy Nation, man. Go Cowboys, and how about them Cowboys?
Man, no doubt, man. Appreciate you, man. Thank you for your analysis, man, and your especially way he put it in different perspectives. Not giving Dak Prescott the tools to be successful. I'm gonna tell you guys, everyone have a reason. Results are what matter, and I know it's the situation that a lot of people don't want Cooper Rush to succeed because Dak is their quarterback. And a lot of people, and there are some people want Cooper Rush to succeed because Dak is the quarterback. So I just want you guys to stop thinking that way, on both sides of the party. If y'all can be bipartisan, if you guys can really look into this thing and say, at the end of the day, hopefully, man, you guys were fans of this team way before both of those quarterbacks even exist, right? Or even born. So let's look at it in that light. I get it. You know, Jerry Jones, John Stephen Jones, they have their ways. They love the draft. They figure out ways to get new players, new excitement every year. And we have the best coverage of all of sports, but we don't have the results that we're looking for. And those are things that are really troubling. All right. Got my guy, Uncle Charles, you live.
What's up, Law? What's happening, y'all?
Nothing to it. Nothing to it.
Man, let me tell you something. Let me just say this, Law, and I'm going to say this to the Cowboy Nation. Ain't no need to worry what the night is going to bring. It'll be all over in the morning. Let me tell you something, man. Devon White said for the Dallas Buccaneers that our offensive play calling was a joke. Man, that's telling. For a defensive back celebrating going to the press conference and celebrating the win, he's talking about our offense being plain and vanilla. The first time he went in that reverse, that's high school stuff. They do that in high school. Why Jerry Jones never put up with this, and then for us setting it up for that to fail, that might be very well true. Yeah. But I know one thing in life: what comes around really goes around. Let me tell you something. It's a fool born every minute. Law, let me ask you a question. What's 2 plus 2?
Hey, man, it's 4.
Okay, I know it's 4. You know it's 4. But the fool next side said 2 plus 2 is 5. And he got a reason why it's 5. Even though we know he's wrong, even though we know we're right, he don't think so. So that tells me one thing. In these days, the right is the wrong and the wrong is the right. So you won't be able to fix that. It's what it is. Let me tell you something. It's a sucker bearing every minute.
Yeah.
Listen, Michael Jackson's song said they don't really care about us.
Yeah.
He's a victim of, I got a family that love me. All I got to say, they don't really care about us. Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones don't care about us. Well, they will do the right thing. Let me say this. I'm pulling for my Cowboys.
Right.
And my heart says I want to win. Mm-hmm. But my mind is something else. I'm sounding like R. Kelly now. Let me get off that.
Hurry up. Get off that one.
Let me tell you something. My daddy used to tell me, let me tell you something, man. My dad was a hard man. I'm going to make this quick in closing. My dad was a hard man, a good man, but he was a hard man. And the first time he took me to go get some shoes, back in you look out in California, you got some shoes thrown across the electrical wire. Well, they used to sell shoes on the rack. And my dad said, "Them showing some nice shoes like that." I said, "Daddy, that ain't no nice shoes. Them things are $89,000, and it got ankle breaker on the back of them." My daddy didn't give a damn. He said, "Well, if you ain't gonna wear them, you gonna go to school barefooted." And I didn't wear it, and it rained that damn day, and I was going down the hallway, squishing and squawking. Where's all that noise coming from? Yeah, Charles. That's Charles right there. That's him right there with them damn shoes on. See, it was me. Said something. You ain't had no Charles back then. My mom took us to the outlet. We got our clothes from the outlet. Man, let me tell you something. You ain't gonna believe this. My mama bought me some church shoes, some black church shoes with checkerboard heels. You can't make this up. Let me tell you, all you need for a few checkers, and you can play the whole damn game on the back of my damn feet. So that's all I.
Hey, Unc, before you go, man, they said when that album coming out, man.
When the album coming out, yeah. when I will let you know when I drop it. Yeah. I'll let you know when I drop it. Next show, it's still in the process. Yeah. You don't want to put that because you don't want to go wood. And that's all I got to say. I appreciate you.
Appreciate you, man. That's my guy, man. That's my favorite uncle in the world, man. Uncle Charles, man. Hey, Cowboy Nation, I see a branding opportunity for him, too. Somebody hit me up, and shout out to King Element for pointing this out. But Uncle Charles got a cadence, right? And he says, "Let me tell you something." So look up. I got it pinned at the top of the screen. So whenever Uncle Charles get on, man, we have to put that on. And I wanted a hoodie with "Let me tell you something." You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna get a hat that say "Let me tell you something." Maybe with some stars on the side, because Uncle Charles, man, that right there is the centerpiece of his conversation. Let me tell you something, and I like that marketing ideal, man. Let's see if we can get this with legs, man. So whenever Uncle Charles, we need to put a hashtag movement with this, because that let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. That goes a long way, baby. For those who don't know, that's a Southern thing right there. Let me tell you something. And if you think I'm lying, let me let my guy in, the movie star, man. Let me tell you something. You're live.
You already know what it is.
Yes, indeed, man. Well, talk to me, man.
Man, I had to lick my wounds for a few days, man.
Yeah.
Can somebody please tell Jerry to swallow his pride and go get Bill Parcells' playbook?
I think that probably won't even work. You got to get his whole mind. You got to get Parcells in the building.
Man, I'm telling you. I mean, Zeke was averaging almost 6 yards a carry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Why did we stop?
And I don't even know.
I know. So, but on another note, are we prepared? And God forbid, but what if something happens to Cooper Rush? Who's up?
Will Greer.
Mm-hmm.
Will Greer.
How you feel about that?
I think Will, he was the best quarterback, minus, of course, Dak Prescott in training camp. And then his preseason, he showed us more than what we've seen out of Cooper Rush.
So why aren't we starting Will Greer then?
I mean, they value that Vikings game. And I think that there are things that Cooper Rush do with the number ones a whole lot better.
Everybody valued the Tampa Bay game last year, and look what happened.
True that. I got no room on that one. Yeah.
We got to go with the now.
Yeah.
And last thing, do you think the fact that the starters did not play in the preseason game is the reason why we look so bad?
Yes. Most of the time, the preseason game, they hold out the starters, the quarterback, right? But in this type of situation, they held out a lot of guys, even on the defensive side, like Dorrance Armstrong. So normally, it takes I would say 3 games before we can see the full ideal of this team. But we want things at least now, and it's fire and brimstone now. The world is crashing. So let me get into the Giants game, and then I can tell you a little bit better about this team. But for right now, it's crazy. And that's after the Giants game, by the way.
Right. So right now, what we got to do is literally one game at a time.
One game at a time, fam. And it's a terrible mindset.
And let them hang every game.
You got to let them hang, man. And hopefully, even though Cooper Rush, as they said in the presser, he's not a very vocal guy, hopefully something can get out, Yeah,
somebody needs a lot of match under his ass.
No doubt, man. I appreciate you for calling in, fam. Thank you so much, man.
Already.
The movie star.
How about them Cowboys? Let them hang.
Let them hang, man. All right. I got as promised, the 972. You're live. Talk to me.
What's up, Law?
Nothing to it, man. Talk to me, Chief.
So I just got a question. I want to be positive, but I can't help to think this. Right? At what point do we start to look at, man, this guy is on the hot seat, if he's not already? I'm talking about McCarthy and Kellen Moore. At what point do we start to look at that? As far as, man, like he might not even make it through the season.
If I'm Mike McCarthy, before they fire me, I would have to do, in the words of Queen, let him hang. He would have to say, all right, if I'm going down with the ship, let me call the plays. Let me do my story. Let me write my own, obituary. Because at this point, if you're going to can me, let me go out on my own watch by going all in.
Mhm.
So hopefully, we've seen it happen before. The Harbaugh guy, on John or Jim, I forgot their names, but he called his own plays, and they went all the way to the Super Bowl because of the offensive coordinator was not on the same page. And the Ravens won the Super Bowl that year because he said 2 tears in the bucket. If we're gonna go down, we're gonna go down on my watch. Give me the playbook. I'm the head coach. Let me do it myself. And then that's what happened.
Gotcha. Okay. And one more last thing, and I'm gonna get off because I'm at work. Are you a gamer by like any chance?
Like no,
Like Madden
Madden. No, I haven't played Madden since like 2006 or 7. So
Okay.
yeah.
All right. Well, the reason why I brought that up, and like I don't mean to bring a video game into real life because of course like they're different.
Right.
But me, like I'm a big gamer, and it's just the fact of if I know a play that I'm running or if I'm running the ball is working and my opponent he can't stop it, like why would I try to move away from what's working? I mean, we don't get paid millions and millions of dollars to know this stuff. Kellen Moore does, so like I'm trying to, I mean, like, do you think he's smart? Like, do you think he's too smart for his own good to realize that? As far as what everybody is saying, he's trying to be, he's been like too cute.
I think
I
it's
don't know,
neither.
man.
I think
don't
it's
get it.
neither of that. I think it's just inexperience. When you look at everything, I think that he's still, once again, I think his inexperience. I think it's also how he got the job, and he's still learning. And when we look at things, and we clearly see that, hey, man, first 20 plays are scripted. Not like in good conscience, not to do a trick play on your first series, right? Those are things that you just don't do. Like
Right.
not, what I'm saying, dance with the first lady you see when you're going out clubbing, but through experience made you understand, okay, this is how I'm going to survey the room first. I'm going to go make sure I set up first, make sure that I do at least a few walk arounds, and I make sure that I'm not the first one in there. But through experiences, it gets you along the way better. And I think that that's the best analogy that I can use. And what Kellen Moore does is he shows everything when he first walk in, right? Hey, I got these tricks right here. I can make a hat and the rabbit can come out of the hat and stuff like that. No, chill, man. Chill for a second. Chill. Figure out what the team is trying. It's supposed to be a game of chess, not checkers, right? But even checkers got strategies, right? Whether or not you're going to try to attack from the outside or in to set up your double moves. But I think that Kellen Moore, there's no scripted against the defense of what the teams is trying to do to take away. I don't think that he does those things. Yeah.
He wasted no time showing he didn't learn anything. He did it on the first drive. 5.2 yards a carry.
Right.
You immediately do it. Like,
right.
It's just frustrating.
Yeah, he's shooting himself in the foot, man. But it is what it is. I thank you so much for jumping in and calling in from the 972, fam. Appreciate
you. Yes, sir.
Good call from him. All right, so you guys get what I'm saying. All together, shout out to you, Jackson. Thank you for joining the nation. And it's not me. It's not me hating at Kellen Moore. Like, even in the 49ers game, like the series that got us to that first touchdown was when they utilized Tony Pollard and Ezekiel Elliott. It's literally utilizing your weapons. It's not like, okay, I got Tony Pollard just to say for the sake of getting him touches, let me put him in on passing downs, right? To be the blocker. That's not his strong set, right? And I can hear people right now writing up a long essay type of reply to say, yeah, but Kellen Moore, if if Tony Pollard execute his play, then that play would have did X, Y, and Z. No, you just don't do those things. You don't. You don't go get Superman and say, okay, I made this bed of kryptonite and I want you to lay in it and let's do some arm wrestles. You know what I'm saying? No, that is putting Superman in a uncomfortable situation, right? That's putting him around his weaknesses. You want to put him around his strength. And I think, and of course we don't have Superman on his team, but you guys get what I'm saying. It's equivalent to Dan Quinn saying, you know what? Since Parsons got all of these skill set, I'm going to line him up at 0 the whole entire game. Or I'm going to play him at free safety. No, you just don't do that. You play him where he can be the max ability and make the necessary adjustments so he can be an impact to this game. All right, so we got, man, God, oh, boy, they strong today. Got him up out of here. All right, and I got the 945. You live.
Hey, what's going on, my guy? This Action on me.
Action, man. What's good with you, fam? Let me save you in here, man. Huh?
Hey, look, when I see you them glasses earlier, man, I thought you were a little hung up. I thought you needed a little quicker square for the trigger drag.
Nah, man, I can kill that whole bottle and I'll be the first one up, man. You know what I'm saying?
Bro. I got a quick question for you, bro. Man, Edward McCoy in the room, man, did he sound kind of broken to you, man? He sound like he need a little therapy or something, bro. You know what I mean?
You talking about Mike McCarthy?
Yeah, why you sound so, that don't sound like a confident coach, man. That sound like, Jerry Jones like, hey, Mike, why don't you come up here and show me that dance you showed me the other day? We got company there. Come show him that dance. That's what he sound like, he just put on blast.
Man, we got these coaches, man, to come in without that certain personality that I'm willing to run through the wall for. And I thought that Mike would at least sometimes gravitate to that. I know that Jason Garrett was never that, right? I can tell you guys that for sure. But the Cowboys are in love with that style and that brand of coaching. I don't know why, but that's just how that goes, man. And we have to suffer from it, man. I just want to, you know what? I'm just tired, man. I want a real coach that's in here that we can tangibly see X's and O's. And, hey, we go into a game and we say, man, damn, we outcoach those guys. And we don't have that here, unfortunately.
Right. And every team we play is going to play us in a quarters defense. The NFL is a copycat league.
Yeah.
Every team's going to play us in a quarter defense. Why we don't run, downhill runs? Why is always a zone read run? I don't get that. You know what I'm sayying?
Because of tendencies. What you asking for, like all off season, it just hit me. Like everyone that we talked, everyone that had a podcast, people would call in and say, hey, man, run the damn ball, right? Run the ball. Even got my guy West Coast. He got hats and everything to say run the ball. But shout out to my dog, man. But the problem is we can want that and we can yell to the high heavens for that, right? But it's not the nature of Kellen Moore. He's not a run first guy. Even if he try to run it, it won't be the same. That's just how it is.
Right. It don't fit him. You can tell because it's no aggression with the run. It's like a passive run, like his personality.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like there's no physicalness. There's no in your face about his run. His running game. There's no in your face about it.
Right.
You know
Right. Right.
I think Zeke suffers from that. You know what I mean? Because he's an in your face runner.
Right.
He's not in your face runners called for him.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, why would you give him tosses and want him to get to the edge? No, why won't run him up downhill, inside? You know what I mean? I don't get that.
And the thing is, fam, this is the reality that most people just don't understand. You can't explain to me what the inside of my house looked like if you've never been there, right? Action. You can't say, well, Law is in his studio and next to it is his bedroom, next down there is the kitchen. You can't explain that because you don't have no experience. You never experienced that. And that is what we are trying to do. We're trying to get Kellen Moore to explain things that he never experienced. He never been a run-heavy guy. Even in Boise, they never was a run-heavy team, right? They can drop all of the exotic plays for passing, and which was cool. That lane is really good for him. But even if you look at who we got as the positioning coach, Skip Pete and all of those boys, those guys are not just going to be boisterous enough to say, hey, this is what we should do, because they just excited that they got the job, instead of being the team that say, hey, all right, let's get to running, come hell and high water. These are the things that we're going to present to the table. But we just don't have it because we just don't have that experience level.
How could a guy that Dak beat out for the job teach him where he's going wrong at?
Big facts, man.
What sense does it make? Where's the season coordinator at? Well, you know what I'm saying? Where is that at? Like, why would we run our team in that sort of a manner?
Yeah, out of GP, out of general principles, and, even from the street code, that should be given. Yeah. That, like, dog, you couldn't even run the block. How you gonna teach me how to sell the block, man? Come on, man, come on. Hey, man, you ain't moving anything, dog. You don't even know the codes. In life, there's codes, and you don't even know. You know how to work and operate out of the codes, but you gonna teach me how to? Oh, okay, all right.
We from the country, so we gonna get that wisdom from the old heads. They gonna tell us, and we gonna sit there, gonna soak it all up, and we gonna apply it to how it fits us best.
Yep.
But for you to not experience it, we both got to go through the growing pains together. We can't be successful like that. You know what I'm saying? It's not. I don't see it happening.
Yep. And it's the little things, man. We used to go deer hunting. I don't go deer hunting now, but back in the country, back in the days, man, we go deer hunting. Rule of thumb, like if you taking a shower and stuff like that, we be like, hey, man, what you doing, man? But see, people who's not from that world, they be like, hey, man, you didn't take your shower, you know what I'm saying? Why you even freshen up? Man, wildlife, man, they'll smell all of that, And then
it's not from their habitat.
Not from their habitat.
Yes, you're right.
Yeah.
You are exactly right.
Yeah, so you can't do that.
But if you don't know it, you know what I'm saying?
You don't know it.
How can you teach it?
And that's what Kellen Moore is doing. Before he going into battle, before he going into hunting, you know what I'm saying? He's taking him some zest, fully clean, bath and body work, and all of the exuberance and
just
stuff.
Like Devon White was one of them dudes like this. We sense that smell.
Yeah. That's a good analogy. That's even better of an analogy, man. The deer's out there eating. He did that last year. I can see him. You know what I'm saying? He's right there. and you know one thing about a deer? A deer can even know you hunting them. You know what I'm saying? Even baiting them.
Right.
But if they see you, you ain't finna hit them. No, you ain't finna hit him. That Joe got eyes on the side of his head, and he know exactly where you at. And the moment you just wasting your time. Just wasting your time.
Game on point. You know what I'm saying? We game on point, bro. But I ain't gonna hold you, man. Robert Torres, Mr. Let me tell you something. In the country, we got it. Let me tell you something. Let me find out. And you ain't never lied, man. Peace.
Appreciate you, man. Shout out to my guy, Action Jackson, man. But it is what it is. He was the last caller of the day, man. I really appreciate you guys so much for tuning in. Yeah, man, y'all didn't really like this episode today, man. I appreciate y'all, those who still jumping in and being part of this Cowboys community. I'm looking at the likes, man. Y'all ain't smashing the likes for your boy. It's okay, man. After a loss and it's beyond hump day, y'all still in y'all feelings. I feel you, man. But it is what it is, Cowboy Nation. I thank y'all so much for tuning in. We're going to get on up out of here, though. We're going to cut the show. I really appreciate you guys so much, though. The nature and the flow of being a fan is rooting for your team. Just think of it if you have a son or a daughter, right? And they kind of wet the bed in recital, right? Like they going up to play the piano or something, they missed a key here and there. You don't disown them, right? You don't push them away. right? You don't kick them out and say, hey, we're going to place you in traffic. You regroup. You say, well, baby, we're gonna work with you a little bit better, a little bit more. And that is the nature and the flow of the Cowboys. It's week 1, and we did terrible. Now it's week 2. The prize fighter, even when he's down, he continue to swing. And I tell people all the time, if you land on your back, if you fall, try to land on your back, because if you can look up, you can get up, Cowboy Nation. Let's go. Let's continue to grind and shine, baby. And when you're up against the struggles, meet it squarely face to face. Lift your chin. Set your feet. Take a brace. And when it's vain to try to dodge it, do the best that you can do. Hear me out. Hear me out. You may fall. You may conquer. See it through. Black may be the clouds about you, and your future may seem grim. But don't let your nerve desert you. Keep yourself in fighting trim. Continue to work out. Continue to sharpen your mind. That's basically what it's saying. And then see it through. Listen then. Hear me out. Even hope may seem yet futile. Then with troubles may be beset. Listen and write this down. Remember, you're facing what other legends have met. Roger Staubach, Troy, the playmaker, Prime. See it through. Keep your head high, Cowboy Nation. Don't be folding up like a wallet or a lawn chair. Don't let the other teams talk bad about you. Measure twice, cut once. That's been my time. I really appreciate you so much for tuning in. Let's go. We're going to run it up, baby. Appreciate everybody. Thank y'all so much for rolling credits, baby. Shout out to the Cowboys Experience as well, baby. Had a great time. You have a wonderful time this week. And
I've been really in the field, lot of rush, I love the feel. Lately I just wanna run it up.
Come on.
Don't need no deals, I make the deal. Have to take it to a meal. Lately I just wanna run it up.
Come on.
Yeah.
Shout out to you, Paul. Thank you. Shout out to the super chat, Paul Smith. Let's go.
Count that too, count it up, count it up, count it up, count it up. Lately I just wanna run it up. Need them ones, I need them fives, need them tens, I need that change to the safe, got blues inside.
Come on, roll those credits again, baby.
It's all the same, I still save and roll my change. Take some losses when I play, charge it to the game. I'm with L, yeah, I'm with T-Black, I'm with Revan now. I'm with Bay,
who's still with Law?
I'm with Chuck and now. Still the same, not switching sides, now it's about
who's switching sides?
You switch sides off for the bag, and that's worth more to me.
Who's with loyalty,
I mix
baby?
Nike with designer, I experiment.
Who ain't rolling with the Cowboys anymore?
I'm not feeling
Cause we lost our
for
first
the
game.
one, but baby girl, there's nothing real as this. Can't trust a soul, I keep a hammer, call it too legit.
Come on.
I've been really in the field, love the rush, I love the feel. Lately I just wanna run it up. Don't need no
come on out to the event. We're going to have Michael Gallup in this one. Yeah. Let's grind, baby.
Lately I just wanna run it up.
Ronald.
Count that too, count it up, count it up, count it up, count it up. Lately I just wanna run it up. Yeah, yeah. I just be off the dome.
Come on.
I never own no chrome. Too many foes and clothes.
Too many foes, baby. Listen to the words,
I be
man.
at home alone. I be in zones alone. I be on road alone.
Come on.
Yeah. I've been really in the field. Lot of rush, I love the feel. Lately I just wanna run it up.
Come on.
Don't need no deals, I make the deal. Have to take it to a meal. Lately I just wanna run it up. Yeah. Kinda check a song. Lately I just wanna run it up.
Come on, baby.
Count that too, count it up, count it up, count it up, count it up. Lately I just wanna run it up.
Come on. Appreciate everybody, baby. Thank y'all for tuning in. The name is Law Nation. Really, really appreciate you guys so much for your love and adulations for the station, baby. Let's get on up out of here.